Page 111, Promenade. On the previous pages, they're giving you some theory to think about. I'll just briefly cover it. On page 109, they're covering two more pentascales, as they call them. I call them five-finger positions. And the idea with the D and the A pentascales, or the five-finger positions, is that the middle note is a black key instead of a white key. So here, instead of here, for D, it's here. And A is the same way. A position would be here, but the middle note, instead of a white key, it's a black key. That's the idea. And those are the two positions that have a black key in the middle. See, it's like the C and the G, those two positions are all white keys. And then the D and the A have a black key in the middle, and the other positions have other things. Other than that, I see no useful reason for you to know this right now. But there they presented it, so there it is. On page 110, we have the intervals of 4/5 and 6. But I've already explained how to do intervals, so I really see no purpose in this either. Because you'll learn to recognize intervals as time goes on. And you know how to figure them out, I hope. I've already explained it. You simply count up. And it doesn't matter what the interval it is. It works on all intervals. So it's like an interval of a second. Let's say I have an here. And I want to go up a second. I simply count up. And the note I'm on is always 1. We don't start with 0. It's 1. So it's 1, 2. That's a second. If I want to go a third, I count up to 3. 1, 2, 3. To 3. Fourth, 1, 2, 3, 4. Fifth is here, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th. It goes on and on and on. If you can understand that, you got the intervals. But you'll recognize them in the pieces from time to time as you start seeing more chords and things. You'll see the patterns. The intervals come in handy, and just keep in mind what they are for now. We're still getting the bits and pieces and putting them together. Promenade uses some fourths in here. For instance, look at the first measure. Those two eighth notes in the first measure, the D and the G. That's an interval of fourth. See, the notes don't have to be played at the same time. They can be any two notes. It could be the first note in the piece and the last note in the piece. Here we have an A, and the last note in the piece is an EC. So this interval is the fourth, and this interval is the third. In interval, any two notes. So 4 promenade, 4/4 time. I'm going to kind of take both hands at the same time because that's the way this is working. So the left hand is starting with second finger on A here. That puts you in this position. And the right hand is starting on thumb on middle C here, so you're in this position. So the hands are here. And we just go, first, just make sure you got the notes. Can you get all these notes? And you know the names of these notes, I hope. If you don't know the names of the notes, then drill yourself on them. Just play the note and say the name and go keep working on it until you get them. Just take your time with it. However long it takes, doesn't matter. It could take weeks, it could take a month, whatever. The important thing is that you eventually get to where you just know the name of the note instantly in the music. Then we put in the counting. 1, 2, 3, 4, and, because we got eighth notes. 1 and 2 and, again. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. We'll have no missed two counts, of course, so you play through the whole thing and get that working out. And we can add the articulation. There isn't really any articulation. They got some slurs. In the right hand, lift up. Now in this case, I would connect the notes in front of, I don't like their slurs. The way it's written, this is the way we would play it. To me, that's choppy. I don't like choppy, unless it's a choppy piece. To me, it runs by. I can separate this, but I would connect the stuff in front of the first slur to it. In other words, I would have a slur going all the way from the beginning of the piece to the end of the first slur. So it's here, it starts here, all the way to there is one slur. And then another slur would take the rest of the line, the whole line. Is my opinion, and I'd do the second line the same way. However, they've done it this way, so let's do it this way. You lift up, lift up, lift up, and these others just connect them. You can lift up at the end of the line because it's the end of a phrase. So it's like a musical sentence where you're talking sentences, and then you can tell when one sentence ends and another begins, sort of. There might be a little silence. You might take a breath. Who knows what you might do? But the idea in music is we just lift up and take a breath. Well, you don't have to take a breath, but lift up is a little silence. It's like splitting slurs. It's dynamics. It's just loud. This is a proud piece. It's just. You'll have to decide what loud is. I don't know what loud is. That's about it for this piece. It's a slow march. Slow march, you can find recordings of this. Go listen or search out Pictures at an Exhibition by Mussorgsky and just listen to it. It's an orchestra piece. It's beautiful. It's so just about that speed, I think. It's a slow march. I'd like to play it with you very slowly to double check the notes and the rhythms. I'm not going to do any dynamics, but I'll give us 4 counts. Let's do it together slowly. 1, 2, ready, and go, and. 3, 4. 4 off. There's a duet at the bottom. I'd like to play that, and you play what you just played. I need you to go up an octave. So just pretend middle C goes up an octave on the keyboard, and instead of here, you're here. Play it here. We'll speed this up just a little, but it's still a slow piece. So I'll give us 4 counts. 1, 2, ready, go.